Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, December 10th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, NHL, and Thursday night football games and look ahead to everything going on this weekend, including the NFL Week 14 Sunday slate. We'll preview and pick Army-Navy. We'll go over the latest news and notes and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll start with college basketball. We will recap the games from last night and look ahead to tonight and the rest of the weekend. Number 23, Seton Hall over number 7, Texas, 64-60. Big win for Seton Hall. NC State over Bethune-Cookman, 65-48. Rutgers upsets number 1 Purdue, 70-68 on a buzzer beater heave shot by Ron Harper Jr., which had the rack rockin'. NC Central over Carver College, 102-50. Nichols over Mississippi Valley State, 95-80. Kent State over Detroit Mercy, 69-52. Hampton over William & Mary, 54-53. Fordham over LIU, 73-57. Bellarmine over Asbury, 87-55. Southern over Lindsey Wilson, 86-68. Pitt over Colgate, 71-68. St. John's over Monmouth, 88-83. Number 5, Gonzaga over Merrimack, 80-55. Number 17, Iowa State over Iowa, 73-53. New Mexico over Denver, 87-67. And Arizona State over Grand Canyon, 67-62. Now we look ahead to tonight. Small slate. 5 o'clock, Yellowstone, Montana. We can skip that in terms of gambling purposes. 7 o'clock, Appalachian State and Furman. My projection for this game is Furman by 6.5. And I didn't put down the total for the game. That's my apologies. And this game lines are Furman 7.5, total 137.5. For this game, I am gonna go with the over. High Point and South Carolina. Actually, no, we're gonna save that one. Where my IUPUI Tennessee State. My projection for this game is State by 17.25, total 127.45. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 126.5. I'll lay the points with Tennessee State. Yellowstone Christian College and Morvion, Delaware, you can skip. Vermont and Brown, my projection is Vermont by a half, total 128.95. Meanwhile, it's Vermont 2.5, total 127.5. I'm taking Brown plus the 2.5. And you know what? I'll take the outright plus 122. It's just very close. Army NJIT, my projection is NJIT by 1.25. I'm sorry, Army by 1.25, total 137.05. And this line is NJIT by 2.5, total 135.5. So I'm going to take the points with Army and whatever the money line is. Now we can do SC State High Point from Rock Hill Sports and Events Center. My projection is High Point by 15, total 148.45. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 142.5. I'm going to lay it with High Point. Midway Bellarmine, we can skip. 8 o'clock, Green Bay, Kansas City. My projection is UMKC by 15.5, total 131.2. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 126.5. I'm going to lay it with UMKC. Murray State, Memphis. My projection is Memphis by 6 3/4, total 142.25. Meanwhile, it is 11 and 143.5. Laying it with Memphis. Or, I'm sorry, not laying it with Memphis. Taking Murray State. I was looking at the wrong line. Oops. I'm going to take Murray in the points. Loyola Chicago and Vandy. My projection is Loyola Chicago by 1 3/4, total 136.8. Meanwhile, it is Loyola 4.5, total 132.5. I'm going to take the over. DePaul, Louisville on the ACC Network. My projection is Louisville by 11.5, total 145-25. Now it's 8.5 and 144.5. I'm going to lay the points at Louisville. Cal State, Northridge, and North Dakota State. My projection is North Dakota State by 17.5, total 127.3. Now it's 10.5 and 123.5. I'm going to lay with ND State. 9 o'clock Prairie View A&M and Boise State. My projection is Boise by 12 3/4, total 138.35. Meanwhile, it is 15.5 and 138.5. I'm going to take Prairie View in the points. And Milwaukee and Colorado. Colorado, I project as a 16.5 point favorite with a total of 138.3. Well, it's 13 and 134.5. This is a tough one. I'll go with the over, just because I really haven't gone with many totals in with today's picks. All right, now we'll look ahead to the weekend. So 11:30 a.m. on ESPN2, Nebraska at number 18, Auburn. 12 o'clock, Big Ten Network, number 22, Wisconsin at number 21, Ohio State. Fox Sports 1, number 24, BYU at Creighton. ESPNU, Louisiana Tech hosting Louisiana. On Fox, Syracuse, Georgetown. 1 o'clock, ESPN3, SJ Fish in Buffalo. St. Francis, Brooklyn, Delaware State. Southeast Missouri State, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Gardner Webb, VMI. Charlotte, Valpo. Temple, St. Joe's. New Hampshire, Duquesne. Voorhees, Kennesaw State. FAU, Eastern Michigan. Western Michigan, Detroit Mercy. 1:30, number 12, Arkansas and Oklahoma on ESPN2. 2 o'clock, Big Ten Network, Penn State at number 19, Michigan State. Georgia Southern, Mercer. Troy, Tennessee Tech. Princeton, Lafayette. UNC Asheville, Western Carolina. Fox Sports 1, Central Connecticut, Providence. NCNT and UCF. Southern Illinois and Tulsa. ESPNU, Mississippi State and Colorado State. Penn, LaSalle. Sunny Inoda, Binghamton. ACC Network, Drake, Clemson. Ossipee, North Florida. Eastern Washington, North Dakota. Maine, Quinnipiac. Siena, Holy Cross. Canisius, Youngstown State. 2:30 on Fox, number 4, UCLA at Marquette. 3 o'clock, Ohio Stetson. Philander Smith, Little Rock. Morgan State, Longwood. Loyola, Louisiana and Southern Miss. St. Catharines, Southern Utah. Hartford, UNLV. South Dakota State, Washington State. Lamar, Texas, Arlington. Illinois State, Chicago State. Towson, Coppin State. UNC Wilmington, Jacksonville. 3:15 on ESPN, Missouri at number 8, Kansas. 3:30 on ESPN2, St. Bonaventure at number 15, UConn. Grambling, Incarnate Word. 4 o'clock, Motor City, Tennessee State. St. Mary's, Maryland and Maryland Eastern. American and Mount St. Mary's. Fox Sports 1, Eastern Illinois, Butler. Oral Roberts, Missouri State. Dallas Christian, Northwestern State. UTSA, Sam Houston. Pacific, San Jose State. 4:30 SEC Network, UNC Greensboro at number 13, Tennessee. Maine, Fort Kent and Weber State. Northern Arizona, South Dakota. UMass and North Texas. 5 o'clock on Fox, number 11, Arizona and Illinois. Arkansas State and Mississippi Valley State. Boston College and St. Louis. Pac-12 Network, Manhattan and Utah. 5:15 ESPN, number 10, Kentucky at Notre Dame. 6 o'clock on ESPN2, number 25, LSU, Georgia Tech. Alabama State and Pepperdine. Santa Barbara, St. Mary's. Toledo, Richmond. Southeast Louisiana and Southern at 6:30. BU, Dartmouth. SEC Network, TCU, Texas A&M. Bryant, Stony Brook. Fox Sports 1, Minnesota, Michigan. 7 o'clock, Alabama A&M, Sanford. Marshall, Eastern Kentucky. Sacramento State, Oregon State. UC Irvine, Fresno State. Bradford, James Madison. Norfolk State, Wichita State. Drexel, Abilene Christian. New Mexico State, Loyola Marymount. Columbia, Albany. Carver College, Winthrop. South Carolina Upstate, Wake Forest. Liberty, Stephen F. Austin. Florida Gulf Coast, Robert Morris. UIC, Central Michigan. 8 o'clock, VCU, Old Dominion. Montana State, St. Thomas. Rice, Houston Baptist. Ottawa, Arizona, Grand Canyon. ACC Network, Ala, North Carolina. A&M Corpus Christi, Omaha. 8:30, Western Kentucky, Ole Miss. Fox Sports 1, Cincinnati, Xavier. 9 o'clock, Live Pacific, Cal State Fullerton. Middle Tennessee, Tennessee Martin. New Orleans, Utah State. Pac-12 Network, Santa Clara, Cal. Denver, Dixie State. 10 o'clock, ESPN2. Number 14, Houston at number 9, Alabama. Cal Lutheran, San Diego, Cal Poly, Portland State, Idaho, Cal State Bakersfield, and Utah Valley, Wyoming. Now we look ahead to Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Florida, Miami, 12 on the Big 12 Network, Merrimack, Indiana, Fox Sports 1, Colgate, St. John's, ESPN 2, Florida State, South Carolina, 1 o'clock, Jackson State, number 17, Iowa State, Davidson, Northeastern, Fairfield, William & Mary, Buffalo State, Niagara, Nat College, St. Peters, Indiana, Kokomo, Ball State, 2 o'clock, Big 10 Network, number 1, Purdue at NC State, Wofford, Coastal Carolina, Hampton, Loyola, Maryland, Alice Lloyd, Northern Kentucky, Tennessee Wesleyan, Chattanooga, Presbyterian, Charleston, Virginia Tech, Dayton on ESPN 2, Navy Marist, Florida A&M, Akron. 3 o'clock on ABC, number 6 Villanova, number 2 Baylor. Wow. That's a big game, and ABC got wow. UMKC, SIU, Edwardsville, Milaps, UAB, UTEP, New Mexico, 4 o'clock ESPN 2, Kansas State, West Virginia, ESPNU, NJIT, Northwestern, 4:30 Big 10 Network, number 20 Florida, Maryland, 5 o'clock on ESPN, Washington, number 5 Gonzaga. Wait a minute, I heard that game got canceled. I'm surprised that it's still on the list. Pac-12 Network, Long Beach State, number 16 USC, Tennessee State, Lipscomb, Southwestern University, Texas State, Green Bay, Kansas State, 7 o'clock Cal Baptist, UC Riverside, Pac-12 Network, Oregon Stanford, Iona Yale, ACC Network, Monmouth Pitt, 7:30 Fox Sports 1, Rutgers at number 23 Seton Hall, both teams coming off huge wins. So let's see who has the letdown, Seton Hall or Rutgers. I'd say probably Rutgers. And then at 8 o'clock, UC San Diego and Seattle. All right, now we'll look ahead, or look back, I should say, on last night's NBA games. And I will look ahead to tonight and the rest of the weekend. Alrighty, so Jazz over to 76ers, 118-96. Grizz over to Lakers, 108-95. And the Spurs over to Nuggets, 123-111. All right, now we look ahead to tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Kings and the Hornets. My projections are Charlotte by 3, total of 228. That accounts for the absence of LaMelo Ball and Rashawn Holmes on each side. And Sacramento is a 1.5 point favorite, total 228.5. How on the earth? That's incredible. They have no business being a road favorite. I don't care that LaMelo's out. They don't have Rashawn Holmes. Give me Charlotte plus the 1.5 and plus 102 on the money line. Mavs Pacers, my projection is Mavs by 3/4, total 212.3. Meanwhile, it's Indiana by 1.5, total 213.5. The favoritism towards Indiana continues as a home favorite. This time it's a slight home favorite against Luka and the Mavs. But they don't have a player as good as Luka on their team. Skivvy, slight edge to the Mavs, plus 1.5 and plus 102 straight up. So it's 2 dogs I like in the NBA that went outright. 7:30 on ESPN's a great game. That's Hawks. My projection is Brooklyn by 1.25, total 217.15. Meanwhile, it's Atlanta 1.5, total 223.5. Give me the under. I think I do like the Nets too, but the under's the better play. No Bojan Bogdanovic for Atlanta. I think this is an under. Knicks Raptors. My projection is Knicks by 3.25, total 212.5. Meanwhile, it is Raptors is a 1 point favorite, total 209.5. So is it Knicks or is it over? Or under, my bad. Oh, no, over. It's an over. So it's 3 points on the over. And then it's a 4.25 edge on the Knicks. So I'm going to take the Knicks plus the 1 and even money to win outright in Toronto. Bucks Rockets. My projection is the Bucks by 17.75, so 216.95. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 224. I'm going to lay it with the Bucks in Houston. The Cavs and the Timberwolves. My projection is the Timberwolves by 2.5, total 211.8. Meanwhile, it's Timberwolves by 1, total 212.5. Slight lean Minnesota, minus the 1. Pistons Pelicans. My projection is New Orleans by 3.5, total 211.55. Meanwhile, it is 6 and 212.5. I'm going to take Detroit plus the 6. Lakers Thunder, my projection is Lakers 8 total 215.7. Meanwhile, it's Lakers 6 total 215.5. I'm going to lay the 6 with the Lakers. And in Celtics Suns, I project the Suns by 12 and 3/4 total 216.15. Meanwhile, it's 5.5 and 216.5. I'm going to lay it with the Suns. Even though they don't have Booker, the Celtics don't have Jaylen Brown, but the Suns without Booker are better than the Celtics without Jaylen Brown. So I'm going to lay the 5.5 with the Phoenix Suns. All right, now I'll move on to the NHL. Or I'm sorry, no, weekend. NBA weekend. Whoops. 3:30 Magic Clippers on Saturday. 7 o'clock Jazz Wiz, Kings Cavs, Bulls Heat at 8. Rockets Grizz. And on ABC, this first Saturday primetime game of the season, Warriors 76ers from Philly. I think there's going to be a lot of Warriors bandwagon fans at this game. Obviously, the Steph-Seth subplot is interesting. So, it's going to be a good game in Philly. I think Embiid might be the best player on the court in this game. Philly can win, but I don't know if they will win. And then Nuggets Spurs. And then Sunday, 12 o'clock Bucks Knicks, 6 o'clock Nets Pistons, 7 o'clock Mavs Thunder, Pelicans Spurs, 9 o'clock Wolves Blazers, and 9:30 the Magic at the Lakers. Now we move on to the NHL, where we recap the games from last night and look ahead to tonight and the weekend. Lightning over the Maple Leafs 5-3. Blackhawks over the Canadiens 2-0. Ducks over the Blue Jackets 2-1 in a shootout. Preds over the Islanders 4-3. Blues over the Red Wings 6-2. Canes over the Flames 2-1 in OT on a game-winning goal by Sebastian Aho. Bruins over Oilers 3-2. Jets over the Kraken 3-0. Kings over the Stars 4-0. And the Wild over the Sharks 5-2. Now we look ahead to tonight. 7 games. 7 o'clock you have the Rangers and the Sabres from Buffalo. The Rangers minus 164. Buffalo's plus 136. Over under 6. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Rangers minus 1F is plus 152. Buffalo plus 1F is minus 188. I'm going to go Rangers in regulation at minus 110. Penguins Capitals. Caps are minus 142. The Pens are plus 118. Over under 6. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Pens plus 1F is minus 220. Caps minus 1F is plus 176. This is a tough one. This is a big game, obviously, on Hulu. I kind of like the over. Minus 105. I could see this being a high-scoring game. 7:30 Preds Devils. It's a pick 'em in each side. Minus 110. Over under 6. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Preds minus 1F is plus 225. Devils plus 1F is minus 290. And we go with the Preds in the pick 'em at New Jersey at minus 110. 9 o'clock, you have the Red Wings and the Avalanche. The Avs are minus 385. The Red Wings are 3-1. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 110. Unders minus 112. Detroit plus 2.5 is minus 132. Avs minus 2.5 is plus 108. I think it's ridiculous, the favoritism towards the Avs in all these games. And where do they stand right now? They are in fourth in their own division, and they're tied for the second wild card, or for the wild card spots with Vegas and Winnipeg. They have no business being that monster of a favorite. I'm sorry. The sole reason why they beat the Rangers at the Garden the other night was because of the Rangers playing a third-string goalie. That is the only reason why Colorado won that game. So I don't want to overreact to that MSG game. I'm not picking Detroit out right here, but I think it's worth the play. I'm going to take, though, Detroit plus the 2.5 at a juice minus 130. I think that is a pretty neat play. And I also would gravitate towards the under. So the podcast plays will be under 6.5 at minus 112. Panthers, Coyotes. The Panthers are minus 345. The Coyotes are plus 270. Over under 6. Overs minus 102. 122. Unders even money. Panthers minus 1F is minus 130. Coyotes plus 1F is plus 106. I'm going to take the this is a tough one. I'm gonna go under 6 at even money. You never know. I could see that being a 4-1 Florida win. 10 o'clock, Jets, Canucks. The Canucks are minus 132. The Jets are plus 110. Over under 5.5. Over is minus 115. Under is minus 105. Jets plus 1.5 is minus 245. Vancouver minus 1.5 is plus 194. I'm going to go under 5.5 and minus 105. I know the Jets are on the second of a back-to-back, which could hurt them. But I think that Bruce Boudreau's having the Canucks play good defense. So I like the under 5.5 and minus 105. And last but not least, the Flyers at the Golden Knights. Vegas is minus 245. The Flyers are plus 198. Over under 6. Over is minus 115. Under is minus 105. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 128. Vegas minus 1.5 is plus 104. This one is a tough one here. I'm going to go with the over. I think this is a high-scoring game, so over 6 at minus 115. All right, Saturday, 1 o'clock, Lightning Senators. 7 o'clock, Capitals Sabres. Blackhawks Maple Leafs. Ducks Penguins. Canadiens Blues. Devils Islanders at 7:30. 9 o'clock, Flyers Coyotes. 10 o'clock, Bruins Flames. Hurricanes Oilers. Blue Jackets Kraken. Wild Kings at 10:30. And Stars at the Sharks. Sunday, 7 o'clock, Predators, Rangers, Ducks, Blues. 8 o'clock, Panthers, Avs. 9 o'clock, Wild, Golden Knights. And 10 o'clock, the Hurricanes at the Canucks. All right, now we'll recap last night's Thursday night football game. And we will look ahead to the Week 14 Sunday slate. In what turned it to be a thriller, the Vikings over the Steelers 36-28. So my over hit in this game as Minnesota goes to 6-7. Pittsburgh drops to 6-1. Now we look at this Sunday. First up, you have the Ravens and the Browns on CBS. My projection is the Ravens by a half. Total 44-35. Meanwhile, it is Browns 2.5, total 42.5. I'm going to go with the Ravens plus the 2.5 and plus 124 on the money line. And I have a slight lean to the over. Jaguars Titans on CBS. My projection is the Titans by 13.5, total 45-6. Meanwhile, it is 8.5 and 43.5. I'm going to lay with Tennessee here. I just feel that this is a get-right spot for them. So I'm going to go with Tennessee minus the points. Raiders Chiefs. My projection is Chiefs by 7, total 46.95. Meanwhile, it is 10 and 47.5. I'm going to take Las Vegas plus the points here for my pick. Next up, the Saints at the Jets. My projection, wait for it, Jets by 2, total 47.25. Meanwhile, Saints 5.5, total 43. Giving the Jets plus the 5.5 and plus 194 to win outright. I know I called for the Jets to win last time, but I think that this could be a good spot for them. The Cowboys and the football team. My projection is Cowboys by 8, total 48.5. Meanwhile, it is 4.5 and 48. Oh, man. I love Dallas here in this spot. Minus the 4.5. I love it. Falcons, Panthers. My projection is Carolina by 3, total 43.25. Meanwhile, it is 2.5 and 41.5. Close numbers. But for the podcast, I'll go a slight over. The Seahawks at the Texans. My projection is Seahawks 6 total 40-65. Meanwhile, it's 8.5 and 41.5. I'm going to go with the Texans plus the points just to cover. Even though it's Davis Mills. 4 o'clock, Lions-Broncos on Fox. My projection is the Broncos by 12, total 40.6. Meanwhile, it is 10 and 42.5. I'm going to lay the points with Denver. Giants-Chargers on Fox. My projection is the Chargers by a whopping 13, total 46-45. Meanwhile, it is only 9.5. Total is 43. Is there, reports that Daniel Jones might play or something? Because if he does, this goes to 9. So, the podcast pick is going to be the Chargers minus the points. But if Jones plays, that could change, and maybe I'll go with the over instead. Keep an eye on that. But I'm surprised it's that low. 49ers Bengals on CBS. My projection is the Bengals by 6, so 49-2. Meanwhile, why is San Francisco favored? Why on earth are the 49ers favored in this game? They have no business being a favorite. Give me the Bengals plus the points. And plus 108 straight up. Game of the week. Bills, Buccaneers from Tampa as the Bucs. I project as a 7.5 point favorite, total 49-1. Meanwhile, it's 3 and 53.5. I have a 4.5 point edge on the under and a 4.5 point edge on the Bucs, and I'm going to lay it with the Buccaneers. I think this is their time. Big game team. Tom Brady, he owns the Bills. Always has owned the Bills. He'll continue to own the Bills. Lay with the Bucs. I absolutely love it. In Sunday Night Football, the Bears and the Packers from Lambeau Field. On Sunday Night Football, Al, Chris, and Michelle on the call. My projection is Packers by 12.5, total 42-25. Meanwhile, it's 11.5 and 43. Very close numbers. I'm going to go slight Packers. And then we'll save the Monday night pick for Monday. All right, now I'm going to preview and talk about a game that happens once a year. And it's always an emotional and a game that the whole nation watches. And that, my friends, is Army-Navy. This year, it's at a different site. It's at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's really cool that the game's going to be at MetLife this year. Because it's usually at M&T Bank Stadium or typically Lincoln Financial Field where the Eagles play. Sometimes it's at M&T Bank in Baltimore, and mostly it's at Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. But the home of the Giants and the Jets get this game. Really cool. My projection is Army by 15, total 53-4. I know the under usually hits in this game. But I just don't see the Army-Navy line, which is weird on FanDuel. I'm going to have to check DraftKings to see if they have it. And they don't. Is Army-Navy in the special category by itself or something? But I can't find Army-Navy. Let's see if Vegas Insider has it. And they do. So Army 7.5, total 34.5. is so big edge Army, big edge on the over. The reason why the total's so low is because the total's low in this game every year. And guess what? I'm going to go by my analytics and the numbers. So I'm going to go over 34.5 for the podcast pick. And then the second pick, Army minus the points. And I think Army will win this game in the realm of like 24-14 or something like that. Because that's Army in the over, right? Like, I could see this being 24-14, and that would be an absolute no-brainer winner. And I'm going to say Army kicks a late field goal to, like, seal the game against Navy. So, there you have it for Army-Navy preview and pick. All right, now I'm going to go over the latest news and notes. We have to begin this segment with talking about something very sad and tragic, and that is the passing of former Denver Broncos wide receiver Demaryius Thomas. He passed away last night at the age of 33, five-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion. Coming down about an hour ago that the death was a result of a medical issue and family believes he had a seizure. That's just so sad. Thoughts and prayers to Demaryius, his family, and the Broncos organization. And he also played for the Texans, the Patriots, and the Jets. I remember the Texans acquired him in the trade. Then the Jets signed him as a free agent. And then the Patriots signed him as a free agent. Then he retired. And he retired fairly recently, too. I believe I would say it was 3 months ago. And he was a great receiver. And I mean great. He had one of the best touchdowns over the last decade that Tim Tebow threw him the touchdown pass that was that overtime thriller against the Steelers back in the 2011 season in the postseason as they upset the Steelers that year. And then they went on to face the Patriots in the divisional round and lost. And then Demaryius gets Peyton Manning as his quarterback, and then his production skyrocketed, and he became a favorite target of Peyton Manning's, and he was just catching touchdown pass after touchdown pass from Peyton Manning for 4 years, and then Peyton Manning retires, and then he's still putting up numbers with guys like Trevor Siemian. So that shows to you what a great wide receiver Demaryius was, and I think that he was more underrated as a player because there's so many great wide receivers in his era, and I just think that Demaryius deserves a ton of credit for what a great player he really was, and it's just so sad, and you know it's going to be an emotional game for Denver on Sunday now, an emotional day, period, for a ton of these players around the National Football League because everybody loved them. Like you saw, like, opponents tweeting last night, like Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman. Obviously, Sherman faced him in the Super Bowl, so Russell Wilson. Although Russell Wilson was opposing offense, but him and Richard Sherman shared the same field in the Super Bowl back in 2014. But yeah, it's so sad. And it's just, like, you just can't take anything for granted. And Demaryius Thomas, what a great guy too. I've just heard stories from people, like in the media and whatnot, about what a great guy he was, and I believe that. And I always thought that he always came off like a great guy in interviews and such. So, again, thoughts and prayers to Demaryius' family and the Broncos and all of his former teammates. So Marc-Andre Fleury last night got his 500th win as a goaltender, so that's pretty cool. The Coyotes avoided an arena lockout, so that's good news as the organization has paid off outstanding bills and won't be activated from Gila River Arena. Rumors are out there that Derrick Henry could return sooner as people are saying that he could return on the early side of the original 6 to 10 week timeline from November 2nd foot surgery. That's amazing. If they get him back, look out. That team becomes a contender. Bryce Young won a ton of awards. The AP Player of the Year, the Davey O'Brien Award, and the Maxwell Award. And guess what else is next? The Heisman. That's inevitable, and he's going to win that hopefully on Saturday. College football game coming summer of 2023. EA Sports aiming to launch new college football video game in the summer of 2023. So that's really cool news. Oregon pursuing Chip Kelly for potential head coaching return. Good luck getting him from UCLA. But they asked for permission. We'll see where UCLA does. Because Chip had a good year this year, I thought. So, Paige Beckers gets hurt for UConn women, and they lose to Georgia Tech. It's the first loss to an unranked opponent since 2012 for Gino Auriemma and the Huskies. USC wide receiver Drake London declares for the draft after missing most of his junior year with a fractured ankle. Russell Wilson denies trade rumors, as he says, I didn't say that. Titans claim Zach Cunningham off of waivers from the Texans. CC Sabathia fed up with Clint Frazier. He goes, if I see another Clint Frazier story, I'm going to punch somebody. Yikes. Pelicans young point guard Kira Lewis Jr. out for the season after his tearing of an ACL and grade 2 MCL sprain in his right knee. Miles Turner calls out the Pacers as he believes the team views him as a glorified role player and Miles wants more opportunity. That's harsh words. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy guarantees the Cowboys win against the Washington football team. We're going to win this game. I'm confident in that. That's really ballsy. And if the Cowboys lose, I'm blaming it all on Mike McCarthy because you don't say that. And all that does is a jinx. Former Penguins general manager Jim Rutherford to join the Canucks as he is expected to get a deal to be the Vancouver GM, president, or both. So keep an eye on that. So non-sports news, reality star Josh Duggar convicted of child porn possession. Yikes. And that show, 20 Kids and Counting, and they had a bunch of different names as well, or 19 Kids and Counting. And it's just unfortunate for that family. And that's the reason why that show's not on the air anymore. Letitia James suspends campaign for New York governor as she says that I must continue my work as an attorney general. Christmas tree outside Fox News replaced and will be relit at 5 p.m. Well, it was relit 5 o'clock yesterday following the arson attack. That's something we didn't get to on News and Notes, but that was scary. So there's a viral video going around Hillary Clinton choked up after reading what would have been her 2016 victory speech. As she said that she never read this out loud. And that's really it for news and notes. All right, best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I'm going to go with the Ooh, this is tough. I am going to go... This is a tough one. I guess I'll lay the points at High Point against South Carolina State. Is it the best pick in the world? No, but I'm willing to roll the dice. All right, in the Fab Five for the NFL for the weekend, my first pick, I'm going to lay the 4.5 with the Dallas Cowboys against the Washington Professional Football Team. Great spot for them. It's going to feel like a Dallas home game. Next one, Tennessee minus 8.5 against the Jags. Get right spot for Tennessee. A team that's done me really good this season. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals plus the 1.5 at home against the Niners. I just don't get that one at all. I'm going to lay 3 with the Buccaneers at home against the Buffalo Bills. And the last one I'm going to go with is the New York Football Jets plus the 5.5 at home against the Saints. Let's try this again, Jets. And then my money line pick of the week, I'm going to double down with the pick. And I think I took the Jets last week too. And I'm going to roll with them again here, plus 194. I'm just going to do a half unit on the money line this week because it's so risky. So I'm going to do plus 194 at the Jets against the New Orleans Saints and Taysom Hill as the money line pick of the week. All right, so there you have it for today's show. I'll be back on Monday recapping everything and looking ahead to everything going on Monday. Hope you guys have a fabulous, fabulous weekend, everyone.